Hey friends, how you doing? Tom with Tom Willett Trading. Welcome to another video. It's February 13th. Hope you enjoyed the long 3-day weekend. Markets are not open on Monday the 15th, as you all know, probably because of President's Day. So I wanted to get this out today, Saturday, so you have some time over the weekend to go through, digest some of the contents. I got some stellar ideas here, I think, for trading and investing in. And I'm going to touch base on the couple of the cryptos. We'll talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum specifically, where they're at, what the plan is going forward on those, and then we'll revisit some of the previous ideas. Things have been banging. It's been an amazing market, um, and a great opportunity as we continue to go higher here. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, a couple videos ago, that I was, feeling like a little bit like we were going to get more of a correction, more of a pullback, and you'll notice here, back in this area, we came down and we took out this low here, and we basically held the support area on the SPYs. This is the SPY ETF, S&P 500 ETF. You can see here, and we've gone right back up and pretty much been a grind. We X-ray down from the daily chart here up in the upper left to the 60-minute chart here on the lower left, you'll see what happened here. We gapped up and basically attempt to go lower, kick back, attempt to go lower, kick back, going up really lockstep with the rising moving average here. Try to go harder, down, came up. One more attempt, can't. And then this big, look here on the 15-minute chart on the lower right. Look at this into the close and the volume. It just really, really got after it. A lot of shorts probably got chased as we were trying to find a top in here off these two gap up, came down bottoming tails, where you've got this support in this area here, and we've pushed higher. So where does that leave us for now? Well, continuing move higher, I think, is the bigger odds play here. I think we're going to continue to go higher here at least for a couple of days. Obviously any news things that come out that may change direction, it can happen on a dime. I still, in my bones, am feeling that we're going to get more of a correction than this. So as I've mentioned in all my videos, you just let the charts tell you what to do. You have stops, you have a plan, you have a profit-taking plan, you have a protective stop loss, so that if things come down, you just get out of Dodge and you reassess out of the market and get back in. And like I said, nowadays, what does it cost to get in and out of a trade? Practically nothing, right? Commissions are darn near zero, if not zero, in some cases. So keep that in mind. Just get out, recollect yourself in your mind, and get back in if you need to. And so we'll talk about some of the ideas here. But I think, again, as I see here, what we're doing, these basically do what I call basically giving it some legs to stand on. If you think of like a stack of cups, for example, and you're stacking the cups up and you're stacking them and stacking them and holding them out, eventually they're going to fall. And so what these big jogs down do, if you can visualize it, is it's almost like it's a support system. It's like legs that come up under the cups so that it allows it to support itself and then go higher. So even though we're up a ton of days, by having these little ventures it took down here where it tried to go lower, and people getting short or selling out of their positions, and it holds itself, and it tries it again and it holds itself and can go higher, it just gives it more fuel to the fire, and that could definitely continue to play out next week. Notice here on the daily here, you'll notice the red candles have higher volume. There's more shares changing hands on those days. Okay, and they ended up just getting ignored. Red bar ignored, red bar ignored. Same thing here. Two attempts to go lower, volume coming in, people getting scared. It seems like people getting scared, and again, right back up. Okay, so what does this do? This creates legs and support for this thing to continue to go higher. Now, one of everyone's favorite stocks, I love trading this stock, and I was swinging along in this, but then I completely talked about it. I completely bailed out because as this thing got to here, I became more short biased on this Tesla. But now it's attempted to go lower and got short on this day when it went under 800, hit my target, had a nice take on that thing on an intraday basis, came back up, tried to retest the highs, and then again came right back down, broke 800 again. You'll see here on Friday, broke down under 800, reconvened its strength here at around 785-ish, and was able to come right back up. Could not go lower, basically based out here, volume dropped off, and then broke out at the end of the day. So where do I stand on this now? Well, now you'll notice when I said I was more short, I sold out of my long position here. You'll see why. If I back up the weekly chart, I mean, it's extended, right? Take profits into some move like this. Now, what has happened? Well, so now I'm leaning more short. Now I'm leaning more short. Still, now I'm leaning short, but now it's like, okay, as more and more bars get set up here and it holds this area, this is just a base, a continuation base, meaning if it breaks out over this 900 area, I mean, it's buyable because what's happening is correcting through time, right? The moving averages are caught up here on the daily chart. Really, it's at a point where now it could break out on the daily. Now, the weekly, it's so advanced, it's so extended from the 20-period moving average here that it's almost like you'd have to base for another 4 or 5 weeks for it to really be something that you can plant off of on the weekly chart. However, on a daily chart, you may be able to scalp $50, $75 on this thing if it breaks over 900. So now, as time goes by, I'm less short leaning on this thing and more long leaning because it's correcting through time. It's not really going down, and it's showing some hard support here in the 780 area. So if it breaks under 780 with force, it can stay under there, then I would say a revisit to the 700 area would be in the cards. And you'll notice if it does that, it catches up to the moving averages here. Better, quicker, right? It also gives you about a 30% retracement of this entire move from 400 to not about 900. Right? If I can get down about 700, say the 650 to 700 range. Plus, if you look to the left at this area, you've got support, right, in this area. So ultimately, what I'd like to see it do, since I'm completely flat on this thing now and just day trading it from day to day, is for it to fall apart and come down to 700, and then I look to buy it. But the other option is it could base here along for another couple days and then break out over 900. And at this point, it's digested enough over the last 4 or 5 weeks in this price range where it's got support here and it can support a breakout higher. So that's my general plan on Tesla. For those of you guys, I know a lot of you guys trade it, a lot of you guys own it, or a lot of you guys play it both ways like I do, long and short. It's a great moving stock if you can handle the spreads and how quick it moves and just share size appropriately. It is a good trading stock in my opinion. All right, let's revisit some of the previous ideas real quick before we move on to the fresh ideas here for trading. ONCT, talked about this long over many, pretty much this whole 2021 on my videos. Still in it long. This thing's looking good. It broke out here above this high here. It's got nothing but wild blue yonder to move. It's so far from the 200 period moving average because it got crushed way back in the day. This thing can move, and it can move violently higher. I'm riding it still, managing some. I'll trail stop some of my shares probably on this daily pivot here at 650 if it comes back against me. But right now, riding it, looking to move higher. Based on measured move concepts, I think a move to around the $9 area will be my first stop to take some of the position off the table, 25-30%. But ONCT is looking handsome here on the move higher. WRAP here, I talked about this flag. Remember, I talked about it down in here originally. When this day happened, see this day here on the volume, I said this thing it's got some seismic activity. It doesn't look like much on the chart other than the fact that it's doing a failed breakdown on the weekly. See the failed breakdown here? This is the failed breakdown. But the way the volume was popping up, and every time the volume came in, the stock price ripped. But then every single time, without exception, it got crushed right back into the base where it came from. And typically that's disheartening. However, as I was seeing it happen, I thought this is actually good. This is actually a good thing. Obviously, you'd like to see it close with giant big green bars, but that wasn't happening. It's getting pushed back. Well, now it's not getting pushed back as much. And notice it came up here, it flagged. It actually hit the trigger at $7 a share to go higher. I'm looking to add to my position if this thing can break up to the 725 area next week. It's up 3-4 weeks on the weekly. It's got plenty of room to go higher here, but I like this a lot for a long idea to add. I'm already in it long. Some of you guys are already in this with me long. I'm looking to add to the position, not sell any of it yet. First sale spot for me is going to be around, if you look at these topping tails and this candle right here, what is that, $9 a share. So if it gets up to 9, I'll probably dump 25-30% of my position. Okay, and then I'm obviously trail stopping or stopping it however I want to manage it along the daily chart. So that's WRAP. Window, I hope you guys bought it with me. When it went up here like this, I sold into this strength. Actually sold right near the top of this topping tail. 30% of my position came right back down, bought back even more here in the 13. Bought some at 13, I bought some at 12, and I bought some at 11. And it's up, right? I sold part of these positions here. I'm still holding 75% of my window position, and my average cost on this thing is down in this area here, right around $10 a share, I think, at this point, because I was buying it back in here as it's set up. Look at this beautiful flag here, gorgeous. Look at this basing breakout here. Okay, so I've been in this thing, in and out of this thing, all through these areas here. But right now, riding it, and this thing looks higher. It is super extended. This is not the time to be buying it. But if you're already in, that's why I'm bringing it up. If you were listening to me, playing this with me, and you're in it, my plan is I've sold now 25% of my position, so I'm still holding 75. Where am I looking? Really, this is all-time highs. I don't know. I mean, it could go anywhere at this point. Um, and so just going to trade it and ride it out as far as possible based on measured move. It's extended. I could see it now sitting in this 16 to 20 area for maybe 3-4 weeks. Who knows? Or it could continue to just unleash and move higher. But right now, I think this long term is looking higher. It's in its infancy of this move. It's moved a lot, but I think this thing can go a lot higher. So window. It's also in a good niche position with regards to its business over the next, I think, several years. So keep an eye on this window. I'm in it. I'm riding it. And if you want to look to get in it right now, like I said, don't buy it. It's too extended, but it may base out here. If it bases, or heck, if it pulls back to about the 14, 12, 13 range, this area here, look to buy it. I'm going to look to probably buy back in if it sets up again on a pullback. Last one I want to revisit is Vuzi. Vuzi is another one. Again, bought it off here, sold the 30% here, bought back more here, sold 30% here on Friday in the mid 16s. Mid 15s I sold a little bit, and mid 16s totaling out about 30% of my position dumped on Friday. So is it buyable now? No, too extended. Like I said, I'm taking profits on part of my position, but this, just like window, I think this thing's going higher much, but it's too extended to buy here. You can't buy it at 17. Well, you can, but it's ill-advised to be buying at 17 because you got to put your stop here at 10. Now, this thing could go to 200, and it could also go to 0. So you got to get patterns, in my opinion. So wait for a pull. See this pull back here? You get something like that again, and just make sure it's a higher low than this one. Watching this one. This one I'm going to be trading in and out of probably for many months to come. Riding a good 75% position right here. It looks good. It looks strong. I mean, this is about as bullish a candle as you can get. Massive green on big volume to new highs. After a move like this, I think this thing's off the races. So buckle up, hold on for the ride. And if you're not on this ride yet, don't chase. Don't be buying my shares when I'm selling this thing as it goes way up. Wait for it to pull back. Obviously, hit me up on Twitter. I'll be talking about it here and there when I'm going to be entering it, just like I did when it pulled back here. Vuzi, keep it on watch. All right, let's go to some fresh ideas and some ideas that I've been trading in and out of, but some we'll talk about them. They're setting up right now. X, don't own this right now, but it's setting up really tight here. Look at this daily chart. So you've got a pullback. You've got it finally correcting on the weekly where it's coming to the rising moving average. It busted through the 200-day, came back, totally legit. Here you got what it looks like actually a head and shoulders. So if it breaks under 16, I'd say 1550-ish, get out of Dodge. But right now, I think it's a pretty low odds or low risk situation to pick this thing up here. About $17 a share. See if you can get above this area here on the 60-minute chart. Pick it up there, and your stop is just below 16. Say 1575, 1550, even $15 a share, because that would bring to fruition the head and shoulders setup. But I think what's happening here is it's just pulled back to support. And I think that if this thing can get a head of steam going, it goes right back up to $24 a share. Watch X closely. That's my game plan on it. The other one I'm looking at, one of the other ones that I'm looking at is this Gtech. I've mentioned this one before too. Very, very strong move off these lows. Kind of a real sloppy flag. So on this weekly chart, if you go X-ray down to the daily chart, you'll see it's just kind of an elongated wedge, right? You got lower highs and you've got some higher lows. And so a break, I think, with any sort of force over $9 a share can be considered to be bought. Now your stop is going to be around $2, around $6.50, $7 a share, right? Or you could use this bottoming tail here on this red candle. So keep that in mind. But this thing looks a lot like window and Vuzi. It looks like it's trying to get some. It's got some Momo going up here. It's just consolidating. This thing looks like it's going to move like one of those. So keep an eye on this Gtech as well. The Switchback Energy Acquisition Corp. Again, look at the weekly chart. It's just a giant flag, right? Giant flag here. You can see the lower highs. It's kind of like a wedge pennant, right? Well, what happened here? We came down. We actually took out this low green candle. So if you're aggressive, you can buy this here right around 38. See here, 38.50 a share. Your stop's under the low of this candle, 35. Okay, that's the tight X-ray in now. That's got a higher odds of getting you stopped out. Okay, or you can wait for a setup where it breaks with force above 45, and you get about a $10 stop between 45 and 35. This one's real tight on my radar. I'll be looking closely at that, and that's my general game plan on it. Fubo, been in and out of this thing. Swing, day trading. It's a lot of fun to trade. Initiated a long swing position on this on Friday. You can see the engulfing green candle over this red candle here. Higher low, rising moving average. It looks good. It looks high. It's a little sloppy here on this weekly chart, and you get whipped out of this thing. So share size appropriately. If your stop is at 42, realize that you may get stopped out for a lot larger price than that because it can gap all over the place. But this Fubo, I think, is a good swing long, so I am in it and looking to add to the position if we get this, like if this thing pops up about, say, 47.50, 48 on Tuesday when market opens, I may add a little bit to the position, try to ride this up to the first target. It's going to be around the $60 area where the topping tail is here, 58, 59, or 60 is what you'd be looking at for a target on Fubo, and of course your stop is just below these candles here. Here's another one, laser. I initiated a swing long position on Friday as well off this wedge. Again, you get higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low on the daily chart, higher low. Right here, $36, $37 entry is popping up. Looks strong. Big flag here on the weekly chart. It looks higher. Looks like a first target, $45, $46 area, and then beyond if it can get rolling from there. Laser here, definitely worth watching. Looking to add to my position with the setup. I'm already in, so I'm looking for maybe a move up to 40 and a base, or possibly if it pulls back here to 35 and gives us a tight couple bar entry here on the daily chart, I may look to add to the position there. Of course, stop is below these lows here, about $31 a share. This wind's looking hot, guys. Look at this daily chart. Okay, it's up here, just took a new high. You got a flat 200 just above. Okay, but it's got a big green candle here, and it's consolidated base. Breakout above this high around 120 is your entry. Your stop is right below this low, about 112. Beautiful setup here on this wind resorts. It looks higher. Watch this closely for a swing long. FireEye looks great. Big momentum move up. Flagging, broke down here off this little flag. If you go here, let me back this up here so you can see it. So there's your flag setup where you could buy it over 24 and your stop would be under here. Well, then it got destroyed this day here. It didn't actually trigger over 24, but it came down and took out the low. And what has it done? Well, settled in. Here's what it looks like here, right? Settled in. I like what I'm seeing. This failed breakdown of the flag, if it can pop back up. Again, if you're aggressive, 22.50 is your entry, 19.50 is your stop. If you want a little bit more confirmation, you're looking for an entry more up at 24, and of course then your stop is larger. So to your plan, how you want to trade it, but nonetheless, FireEye here looks like it wants to go higher. Top one on my list, radar to watch long. Now, this one's not very sexy, but it's more of a plodding along stock, and the bottom line is the pattern's there. Beautiful uptrend on the weekly. You pulled back to the rising moving average. There you go. You got the double tap here where it came out, took out the low and the $200 mark to 195, reversed, now forming a higher low. You got a nice little tight entry here, right? Beautiful. About 205 is your entry point. If it triggers, your stop's going to be around 200. And here's the weekly chart support. You got a green candle. You buy the high of the candle, stop under the lows. If you want to get it, you can use the $200 mark here off these lows, or you can give it more room. Obviously, you just got to use less share size because you're risking more per share on the setup. But the setup looks good. It looks higher. Market continues to whistle along to the top side. I think this one goes with it. Honeywell watch long. All right, last stock I want to share with you here on this video, and then we'll talk about the cryptos real quick. QNST, beautiful uptrend, strong, big candle, a little bit of a topping tail here. You can see it here, but what's it showing? It's a flag, right? You got higher lows, you got an even high. Your buy's over 25. Your stop is probably the low here, 24. If you want to keep it real tight, down to about 23. If you want to give it a little space. Now it's got minor support there at that area, so it could retrace. Keep that in mind, and see if it can hold that area too. But right now everything looks good. Weekly's up, daily's up, trending up. This one's definitely worth watching. Keep it on radar to the long side. All right, let's take a look at the two major cryptos. Let's look at Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin here, again, it hasn't been able to hit 50 yet, but hey, I mean, it was at 10 not that long ago, right? When we were first talking about it, and hopefully you got in way back in here. Now, it's up here, and you can see what's it doing. It's flagging. So right now it's showing support around $44,000. And so any sort of retracement in that area, if you're aggressive and you want to get a piece of this, you can try to put a limit order in that area. Obviously, your support area is right more around 40. So I've actually got an order in to buy some here at about 40 if we get a retracement down there. But right now, it's looking like it's just flagging, and then, it could set up another. If we can sit here maybe for a couple more days, maybe through the weekend, and come Tuesday, if it sets up to break out, I think if it breaks past 50 with any sort of force, it could run $5,000, $10,000. Now, the weekly chart should concern you though. Look at how far we've gone, right? Look at how far we've gone. Now, basically what we've got is with the measured move concept, you've got this move here where we move from, say, 15, let's be conservative, 15 to 40. So what is that? That's 10, 20, $25,000. And then it flagged. And so from the bottom of the pivot of the flag, if we extrapolate there $25,000, what does that put us as a target as? 55,000. So based on my position, I'm looking to sell some if and when it gets up to $55,000. Now, I think long term, I'm going to be holding Bitcoin unless something radically changes for a while. But there's a pocket of the monies attributed to this that's tradable, meaning sell into the strength, buy it back when it's weak, sell the strength, as I did here, sold into the strength, bought it back when it was weak, sold into the strength, bought it back in this $30,000 area. Okay, and then went back here. I did sell some in this as it broke above these highs. Okay, but right now it's looking like it wants to go higher. So again, if it pulls back like it did here from 40 to 30, from 48 to 40, I got my limit order in there sitting ready to buy it if and when it comes down there. Now, a lot of people, when they see that they're at 47, they see it go to 40, they're, oh my God, get me out, it's dangerous. Whereas I got the other approach where that's a support area, I'm buying. Okay, so whatever approach you take, follow your plan. But my plan on Bitcoin here is that I'm looking at about a 55,000 target for a decent percentage of my position. Then it's tradable, not the core position I'm holding long term, but the tradable portion to get sold into that sort of strength. But right now it's flagging, so I'm looking to possibly, if it gives it a few more days, I may look to buy it if it breaks above here with a target at 55. It's got to make sense from a reward to risk perspective, basically, as the stop's going to be below these lows. And like I said, we may get right now it's holding the 44. It can't go below that right now. As of right now, as I'm doing this video, it looks like it's printing. It's not showing up here on the chart, but it's printing 46,000 about 900 on Bitcoin. Ethereum has been relatively strong. And you can see here, it's instead of, how Bitcoin made a lower low, Ethereum made a higher low here during this consolidation after the big move up. And now it's broken out and gone higher. I sold into the strength at 1800, 1799 to be exact. Still holding like my core position. Again, this looks higher. Is it buyable here? Is Bitcoin buyable here? Not yet. I think you could buy it if it gets a few more days of consolidation. So come Tuesday, if it's breaking over 50,000 and it holds this area, great. Ethereum here, it's too extended. Don't be buying it. Like I said, you'll be buying it from me because I sell it as it's going up here. My next target is about $19.99. So $2,000 a share. After this run, I'm going to take a little bit more profits, take a little bit more of that profit off the table on my tradable position, my trading position of Ethereum, and then looking for a pullback. So right now we're so extended, and a pullback to 14,000, which would be 1,400, sorry, not 1,000, 1,400 would be disheartening for a lot of people, but to me it's an opportunity to pick up more, again, if the pattern sets up. All right, so that's it, guys. Lots of juicy ideas here on the swing side, long side on there, and also my plan here on the cryptos. And then generally market, like I said, the market still looks healthy unless something happens news-wise. We're continuing to trot higher. Any attempt that's sold off has been reversed. Although, like I said, that spider sense that I had from a couple weeks ago is still there. Something, I feel like a more significant drop of maybe 10 to 15% is coming. So be prepared. Oh, VIX. That's what I want to talk about really quick before we wrap this up. The VIX. So remember, I bought this, sold part of it here into the strength. Should have sold all of it, but hindsight's 2020. Held back, and guess what happened on Friday? I got stopped out of it, right? Remember, I said if you go back to a couple of my videos, I said 16, a little under 16 is where your stop is if you get on this. So net gain on the position as I bought it swing long in here, sold 30% up in here, and then the rest of it I got stopped out for a very small loss because I bought it really cheap. But basically, what is this? Is a breakdown. So if you look at the breakdown, what's the next? This is it's called an inverse picture of money, where it tries to go higher, it turns right back down, and then break. It's the same thing on the top side. If it goes down hard, comes right back up bases, and then breaks out. That's a nice long setup. This is a very good short setup. However, I did not short it. Okay, I don't trust it. I think this. I still have a gut that this thing's going to go higher, but I don't question my stops. My stop hit. I got the hell out of Dodge. Okay, so if you're short this, your target's going to be about the $14 range, where this low was here before it went bananas in March of last year, about a year ago, right? That I see it going down there, no problem. Now, if it goes down there, if it starts to stall out like it did here at 16, you bet I'll be nibbling. In fact, Tuesday, if things fall apart, I'll be buying this thing on the failed breakdown, because a lot of times these breakdowns will fail. You know, it wasn't really, it broke down, but the candle's not that big, the volume's not that high. It's not a real convincing breakdown. It's enough for me to stop myself out of the position and get out. But I'm eyeing this thing up. Watch this long if the market falls apart like I have a sense it's going to, and not 40%, but 10 to 15% correction from where we're at. This is going to be one you want to ride. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a great hedge for all those long positions you're in. Okay, if you're long, of course. I'm making assumptions. All right, guys, that's enough for this week. Have a great long weekend. We'll see you in the next video. Trade safe. Hit me up, tom@tomwillertrading.com. Respond to the video. Tweet me. Whatever you want to do.